Hi, everyone. So, I'm going to give a quick overview of the distance learning packet for week one. So, welcome to week one of distance learning with Miss Grazette. So, as you can see here, if you have your packet out, week one, we're learning about the revolution and independence. So, we have learned about why American colonists wanted independence from Great Britain. And you've read about the major events of the mid 1770s that caused conflict or issues that led to the war between the American colonies and Great Britain. So, in this distance learning unit, you're going to look specifically at how women contributed to the fight for independence. In the next 3 weeks, you will engage with texts to investigate and write about the following line of inquiry. Now, inquiry just means a question. So, in the next 3 weeks, we're going to read and we're going to investigate and write about the following question. How did women contribute or help the fight for independence, and how should they be remembered? So, day one, accessing prior knowledge and asking big questions. So, basically, all is asking you to do here is think about what you already know and ask big questions. So, the focus question leading up to the American Revolution, how did women support the cause for freedom? So, exploring my prior knowledge. What do I already know about this topic? So, in this box, you write about what you already know about the American Revolution. And then these four boxes, question 1, 2, 3, and 4. What do I want to know about this topic? So, about the American Revolution and how women helped in the American Revolution. That is what you're writing questions about. So, in these four boxes, you write one question in each box about what you would like to learn about this topic. So, what, where, when, why, who, how. You can use those question stems to help you think of questions that you would like to figure out and investigate as you read the next 3 weeks about women and their role in the American Revolution. So, The Daughters of Liberty, Spinning for Liberty by Sarah Glasscock. So, this is a play, and we're going to read this together. So, the characters in appearance. So, when we're reading a story, a play is a little bit different. If you get on stage and you're acting it out, this is what the actors will be reading, the script. So the characters in the orders that they're going to show up: the narrator, the English visitor, Patsy Blair, who's a Boston woman, Helen Dixon, a Boston woman, Charity Spencer, Providence, daughter of Liberty, Abigail Good, Providence, daughter of Liberty, India Bradford, also a Providence, daughter of Liberty, Elizabeth King, North Carolina, daughter of Liberty, Caroline Harris, North Carolina, daughter of Liberty, Maud Epperson, North Carolina, daughter of Liberty as well, Betsy Warren, also a daughter of Liberty, but from Boston, Deborah Manning, a Boston daughter of Liberty, and Thomas Bolston, a Boston merchant, which means that he sells things. So, Act 1, which means it's the first part of the play. Scene 1. The scene is 1748 in the Boston Commons, which is probably a general area where people meet. The narrator. Women in colonial America often met to work and talk together. As they spun, sewed, and knitted, they discussed events in their communities, their colonies, and the mother country, England. Soon, political groups were formed by women. In 1748, a group of 300 Boston women held a political rally in the Boston Commons. They set up their spinning wheels and spent the day working to protest the English control of trade. English visitor. I say, what's going on here? Why are you sitting in the Commons doing your spinning? Haven't you got homes? Patsy Blair. We have. We've got very nice homes filled with furniture made in England out of our trees. Helen Dixon. We read books printed in England. We wear dresses made out of the cloth manufactured in England. English visitor. You're very lucky. The English factories are the finest in the world, you know. Patsy Blair, you think the colonies should build their own factories and produce their own furniture, books, and cloth? I'm sorry, we think the colonies should build their own factories and produce their own furniture and books and cloth. Helen Dixon, why should we send our natural resources to English factories? English visitor, English workers would lose their jobs. Then they'd be angry at the king. That wouldn't do. That wouldn't do at all. Patsy Blair, we want to create jobs here in the colonies. We want to keep our money and business here. Helen Dixon, we've come here today to spin our own cloth, to show people that we don't need to depend on England to supply us with the things we need. English visitor, pardon me for saying so, ladies, but the cloth you spin is very rough. Really, wouldn't you rather feel English cloth against your skin? Patsy Blair, you ask us to pay too high a price for English silk. English visitor, a few shillings, shillings was their kind of money back then, a few shillings a yard? Surely you can afford that. Helen Dixon, not until we're free to produce cloth here or buy it from any country we choose. It's not a matter of money, it's a matter of liberty. Now, if you'll excuse me, sir, we have work to do. Act 2, Scene 1. The time is now 1766, and they're in Providence, Rhode Island. Narrator, in addition to controlling trade in the colonies, England wanted the colonists to pay taxes on certain goods. In 1765, England passed the Stamp Act. Official stamps had to appear on all important documents, newspapers, pamphlets, advertisements, even playing cards. The stamps cost money, and so were a form of tax. The colonists were outraged. Two groups sprang up to fight the unfair tax. One was a women's group called the Daughters of Liberty. One was a men's group called the Sons of Liberty. These groups formed all over the colonies at about the same time, but the first Daughters of Liberty meeting was probably held in 1766 in Providence, Rhode Island. Charity Spencer, I refuse to buy the stamps. England needs the money to pay for the soldiers it has sent here to the colonies. I don't want the soldiers here. I won't pay a tax to support them. Abigail Good, we have no voice in Parliament. We pay taxes, yet we have no one to speak for us in the English government. That's taxation without representation. It's our money. We should have a say in how it's spent. India Bradford, the Stamp Act is unfair. We all know that. The question is, what are we going to do about it? I agree with Charity. I won't buy the stamps. I say we ignore the Stamp Act. Abigail Good, that may not be enough. We should make sure that no one buys the stamps. Charity Spencer, how? Abigail Good, when the stamps arrive from England, send them back or take them and make sure they're not sold. The Sons of Liberty are planning to meet the ships. I'll be there too. As a Daughter of Liberty, I'll be there too. India Bradford, the British won't like that. Let's not forget, they have troops stationed here. It would be easy for the king to order them to take the stamps back from us. Abigail Good, not if the stamps are destroyed. India Bradford, this is a big step. It could lead to real trouble between the colonies and England. Charity Spencer, there's already real trouble between us. We just ask that we be treated fairly by England. India Bradford, we're agreed then. We'll meet the British ship coming into our harbor and demand the stamps. Pass the word on to the other daughters and sons. Act 3. Scene 1. October 1774, Eddington, North Carolina. Narrator. Thanks to the resistance of the Daughters and Sons of Liberty, the Stamp Act was repealed or removed in 1766. England soon came up with more taxes. In 1767, the Townshend duties put a tax on tea. The Tea Act of 1773 allowed one English company to sell tea cheaply in the colonies. Colonial merchants, or people that sell goods, couldn't sell their tea at such a low price. In Eddington, North Carolina, the Daughters of Liberty held their own tea party. Elizabeth King. Are we going to let the British get away with this? First, they tax our tea. Then they say that one company, the East Indian Company, can sell their tea at a cheap price to us? Caroline Harris. No. Down with English tea. Boycott English tea. I threw my tea canister out the window this very morning. Maud Epperson. It would be tea, wouldn't it? I just love my tea. I wouldn't drink that horrid coffee. I just won't. Elizabeth King. It's English tea you have to give up, Maud, not American tea. We can brew our own tea out of strawberry leaf or sassafras leaves. Caroline Harris. My mother used to boil currant leaves to make tea. Maud Epperson. Are you sure that's safe? Elizabeth King. The committee has worked hard on the declaration. I'd like to read it, and then we can vote on it. Reading from the piece of paper. We cannot be indifferent on any occasion that appears to affect the peace and happiness of our country, and it has been necessary for the public good to enter into several particular resolves. We here and now give up the custom of drinking tea, and we promise not to wear any cloth or clothing made in England. All those Daughters of Liberty in favor of this declaration, please raise your hands. Caroline Harris, looking around. No need to count hands. Everyone's raised hers, including Maud Epperson. All 51 of us agree. Maud Epperson, I propose that we send the Declaration of the Daughters of Liberty in all the colonies so they may pass it around. Elizabeth King, does everyone agree? Good, we're all in favor. Anything else? Maud Epperson, I was thinking about our American tea. We should call it Liberty Tea. Elizabeth King, all those in favor? Looking around. Liberty Tea it is. Act 4, Scene 1, 1774, Griffin's Wharf on Boston Harbor. Narrator. The Sons of Liberty in Boston held their own tea party in 1774. They boarded 3 English ships loaded with tea and threw the cargo into Boston Harbor. England was angry at the rebellion and closed Boston Harbor. No goods could be sent to the people of Boston. Still, some warehouses were full of coffee and sugar that had arrived before the harbor was closed. A few merchants began charging high prices for these scarce items. One day, about 100 Daughters of Liberty, some of them wheeling handcarts, paid a call on one of these merchants. Betsy warned, Mr. Thomas Bolston, open up. Deborah Manning, we've come for some coffee. Thomas Bolston, locking the door after him as he leaves his warehouse. So many customers this morning. Good morning, ladies. There's plenty of coffee for all. Luckily, I got a shipment before the British closed Boston Harbor. I've had to raise the price some. It's 6 shillings a pound. That's not bad. Really, not bad at all. Betsy Warren. It's very bad, Mr. Bolston. Hand over your keys, please. Thomas Bolston. What? laughing nervously. Oh, I see you're joking. Of course, winking. Let me unlock the door, and you can just help yourselves. Deborah Manning. We mean business, Mr. Bolston. Hand over your keys, or we'll break in. Betsy Warren. 6 shillings for a pound of coffee? Shame on you, Mr. Bolston. Shame on you. Thomas Bolston. I'm a merchant, ladies. How do you expect me to feed my family? I didn't attend the tea party. I didn't throw any tea into Boston Harbor. It's not my fault the harbor's closed. Complain to your husbands about the price of my coffee. It's their fault, not mine. Deborah Manning. You love money, Mr. Bolston. You love it more than you love your family or your country or your freedom. Thomas Bolston. What gives you the freedom to steal my coffee? Betsy Warren. We would like you to hand over the keys peacefully, Mr. Bolston, but if you will not, then we will take them from you. Thomas Bolston. I will not hand them over. Deborah Manning takes Thomas Bolter by the neck and throws him into her handcart. A group of women surround the cart. Thomas Bolston. All right, there. He throws the keys on the ground. Narrator. Betsy Warren unlocks the warehouse. The women dump Bolster out of the cart and wheel it into the warehouse. Inside, they work quickly and quietly. In a few minutes, they wheel out their carts, which are now loaded with coffee. The Daughters of Liberty then march home. Deborah Manning, handing Mr. Bolston his keys. We will not make you a rich man, Mr. Bolston, not at the expense of our country. Enjoy your morning, sir. Okay, so that's it for day 1. I do recommend that you take the time to reread what I've just read, or if you're having difficulty pronouncing some of the words in the play, feel free to rewind this video back as many times as you need to until you feel confident that you understand what is happening in this story. Then you can go ahead and go on to the next video where we discuss what you're going to do for day 2. All right, bye guys.